Hi friends, welcome to the new episode of The Root Cause. In this episode, we are going to talk about Vat Pitta people, which is a very difficult constitution because Vat is hollowness, and when a person has got Vat as well as Pitta, that means the blood is moving very quickly, but the volume of the blood is very less, or you can say the blood is moving through narrow blood vessels and stretched, and it's moving very quickly. Why does it happen? Let's discuss. And before that, I would once again request you, as I do request in every episode of mine, is that all these concepts that I discuss are thumb rules. They are the gist of what I've captured in the books. It is not possible for me to capture all the concepts that I've mentioned in the books. So in case you are finding these topics interesting and interest not only for routine purposes, or interesting because they may be helping your family members or people around, then I would request you to pick up a copy of the volume 1 and volume 2, and the links have been captured in the description of the video. So many of you would have heard of a disease called fibromyalgia. This is a disease which is very quickly catching up. The way we had hypertension, diabetes, spreading very quickly. Nowadays, you find fibromyalgia spreading very quickly in today's world, and every 10th person would have fibromyalgia almost, maybe at a very mild stage or maybe at advanced stage. Fibromyalgia is when fibromyalgia actually is not just one disease, it's a set of disease. I have been through it, and it taught me a lot, and that's why I'm here to tell the world what to do, what not to do, because to cure my fibromyalgia, I had to study a lot to understand Ayurveda and connect it with modern sciences, including physics, chemistry, biology, geography, etc., even geography. So fibromyalgia happens because of excess of Vata and Pitta. What happens? When the blood becomes very less, and if the blood is very less in somebody's in one's body, then obviously it will not reach the brain, or if it will reach the brain, it will not reach your stomach or your kidneys or your lower intestines, or maybe your legs, or maybe your arms. What will happen? In case it's not reaching the brain, you will have brain fog. You may have depression also. In case it is not reaching your stomach, you will have bloating, or if Pitta is also there and there is too much of hollowness, it will start creating acidity, because Pitta will move through acidity and it will create blisters, bubble type of situation. If blood is not reaching your, let's suppose, arms, then what will happen? You will feel tired, and in case you try to increase Pitta, then you may start having burning sensation in your arms, or you may start having pains in your arms, because the blood is moving like this, and because of that there is a lot of obstruction also happening. When there is, let's suppose you got this blood vessel and you have enough of blood and it's pushing through that, then the blood is moving in a controlled manner, okay, and it's going to all the body parts. That means the volume of the blood and the volume of the blood vessels in your basic constitution is almost equal. But when the blood volume becomes very less, and then it starts moving in different directions, that is where it starts causing problems. So why does it happen? Because there are several factors. One is junk food. When you're having loads of junk food, you may not be getting enough proteins, or you may not be getting enough carbs, you tend to go towards comfort foods. And I explained that in the previous chapters also, in the previous episodes also, that when there is too much of pitta created in your body and there is not enough kapha to, so if you got enough kapha, that means you got good bricks, solid bricks in your wall, and the tissues are solid, then even if you take loads of pitta or you exercise a lot, then that pungency or the electricity or the speed of electricity of the pitta will not pierce through kapha. It'll get spread over. It's like a chapati. Okay, when you bake chapati on a gas and on a slow gas, it swells and it becomes delicious. But if you try to bring out a chapati from fridge and then put it on gas, then it will become rock solid. It will become very hard. Okay, unless you have baked it on a slow gas. Exactly the same thing happens in our body also. If you are having too much of junk foods, so it's all a vicious circle. You have loads of coffee, tea to stay stimulated. Let's suppose there's a lot of peer pressure in the system. A lot of friends of yours are playing games, or you are getting pushed by your friends or relatives around that, okay, go and play games, or you are being given highly pungent foods, but there is not enough strength in your body, either because it is genetics, where you've got genes only which are overstimulated, or later on in your life because you've been having very, very less dense food. So if you're having very less dense foods and then there is too much of pungency, it'll start creating this tea, coffee, peer pressure also. You want to study, you want to remain awake in the night to be in the competition with others, it'll create, and for that you want to have tea, coffee, it'll create too much of vata in your body. Okay, so it's all a vicious circle. So what happens is, sooner or later you may start developing pains. I'm just giving you one of the scenario only. To control those pains, you want to go for quick fix solutions, because for 15-20 years you have been abusing your body either through too much of tea, coffee, alcohol, maybe some steroids, maybe other allopathic medicines like blood pressure medicines and all, which create too much of vata imbalance. Vata imbalance is where, for example, you talk about certain medicines. Certain medicines, I explained in the previous episode, they dilate our blood vessels in the lower body. So what will happen? The blood starts going down. Your brain becomes high on vata, because more of blood goes towards your lower body and the core. So when the brain will become hyper, you will not be able to get enough sleep. Even if you sleep in the night, your liver will not detoxify properly, and you will be overmining. Instead of getting enough hours, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you may be sleeping only 3 hours, or you will remain under stress only. So your body will remain like this only all the time. So what is happening? You are burning your blood. You are not able to clean also. There is a lot of deposition of toxins happening in your body. And that is what creates fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is extreme haywire movement of blood in the body, because there is very less of blood moving through loads of blood vessels. So I was explaining about, yes, I was explaining you sartan only. I told you that, when the brain becomes hyper, it will create further hollowness, because you are overmining your body. You are overmining your body and you are overburning yourself. So you get into a loop only. And normally people realize that they've got into this loop, and they realize once they slow down and nothing is helping them, and then they get into the vicious circle of taking GABA, which is calming neurotransmitter. But calming neurotransmitter cannot increase your blood volume. It can only calm down your nervous system. It cannot remove the toxins which have got stored in your body. So again, you will get into a vicious circle. Okay, so what to do? One, you have to have loads of rest. Fibromyalgia people will need to have loads and loads of rest. They need to understand nutrition, which is the sweet taste, proteins, fats, carbs, vitamins and minerals. They need to understand how they work in the body. They need to increase rasa. They need to have Vata pyramid in place. Okay, but then they are Vata and Pitta people. So what they need to do? They need to bring down their Pitta, go as per Vata pyramid. That means they need to bring down their pungency and keep it. Initially, they may need to keep it very less. Gradually, they may need to improve once their body starts becoming denser with the help of nutritious foods, proteins, fats, carbs. They need to take care of weather conditions. In summers, they can't increase too much of pitta. In winters, they need to have some pitta foods. They would need to understand, in fact, Ayurveda properly in case they want to cure themselves. I have been able to cure myself of fibromyalgia with God's grace, of course. You also can do, and maybe it's God only who is wanting, me to tell all of you. Another important thing in fibromyalgia is that so what will happen is that when there is haywireness in your blood vessels, even if you start having healthy food, the continuity of the blood circulation has got broken. Okay, so the only way to recreate, or you can say homogenization of the tissues has got broken. It's like a jar which has got 5 grains. One is that you put those 5 grains and then you shake, or you cook those grains in one utensil only, so they get homogenized, and then they're all in one mixture only. You can't separate one from another. But in case of fibromyalgia, because the blood vessels, because of the haywireness and because of poor, very, very poor blood circulation which is going haywire, the organs stop communicating with each other properly. You need to re-establish that communication, and that is possible only through yoga. Only through yoga. So yoga is a way to homogenize your body. Yoga is not, or yogasana is not meant for displaying your flexibility or not. It's a wrong trend which is setting up in today's world. You can see on the screen the 12 poses of Shivananda yoga. In case you want to homogenize your body, it's like you have to take the jar and shake it so that all the tissues get mixed up with each other and the communication reestablishes. So that is what these 12 poses of Shivananda talk about. Okay, there are a few poses out of this which you may not be able to do properly, but then I would suggest that you can take help of some good yoga instructor. There are just 1 or 2 poses out of this, like Kakasana and all, which are difficult, which are slightly more advanced, which you can perform subsequently once you establish good strength. But to begin with, or at least most of the asanas are indispensable. Do not ever think that, okay, out of these 12 asanas, if I do just 3 or 4 or 5, then I can achieve my aim. No, you have to do your body like this, you have to do your body like this, and then only. Suryasana also helps. The Surya Namaskar, the 12 poses of Surya Namaskar, they also help a lot, but they can't do exactly, because once you start getting into yoga, you will understand Shivananda yoga was meant for a different purpose only. That's all for today's episode. I would request all of you to spread this knowledge because fibromyalgia is growing very, very quickly. It is also because of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, because alcohol is pungent sour, hot but bitter. It will not fit into any of the pyramids. Alcohol in very, very small quantities along with astringency can be therapeutic. It is in fact therapeutic in certain cases, in very, very small quantities, and only for specific people, not for everybody. Thank you so much. If you have liked this video, I would request you to like and subscribe. That's all for this episode. God bless.